Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Game, and we are returning to a Let's Play of War in the West, where we're playing as the Allies, advancing against the Germans, and things are kind of interesting in late October 1943 over here. So, we have broken through the German defensive lines in Italy down here, something that historically was very, very difficult for the Allies, but we have made it through over here. However, the Germans are trying to aggressively contain us over here. I'm not sure just how sure they are of what the strategic situation is, but the good news is that we have managed to cut the rail line over here in the north, and the Germans basically now hang only on these this axis rail lines here that are coming out of Rome, flowing to the east over here. So if we can come in behind them, that would be majorly useful for us. Now, let's look at what we're going to do in the air phase and then how we can potentially attack the Germans in this little Let's Play over here. So I'm going to turn on the air directive, and it's immediately going to be messy. So let's go through them one by one. So firstly, we've got a ground support mission that is being flown here for the Desert Air Force. So these guys up over here, 150 planes, mostly Hurricanes, and a couple of Typhoons, no Warhawks. Some of them with yeah, Kitty Hawks and Warhawks, these are the same thing. Kitty Hawk is just the British term, Warhawk is the American plane. So, quite a couple of these guys flying about over here. These guys do have bombs, these guys do have rockets. They're going to try to directly support any ground attack. Let's, ooh, no, that's not what I want to do. Right, let's switch that over and look at the ground attacks. And we've got a couple of ground attacks coming in over here. Firstly, up over here, we've got 12th Bomber Command with, I think these are mostly the Wellingtons and one Mitchell. Most of these Mitchells are still set to rest. Some of these Wellingtons do have, let's say, dubious morale. It's at around 60. Typically, that's not what I like to use to actually fly some missions over here. But nevertheless, we are doing that, and we are trying to disrupt their rail supplies over here. So you should see that, yeah, the railways are our main target up over in this area. And that is basically what we're trying to do. Again, disrupt all of this supply that is flowing out of Rome into this direction up over here. Then we've got a little bit to the east of that, just directly behind the Axis lines, and close to one of their rail depots, pretty much the most northern rail depot that they have got for now. We've got another ground attack mission with sort of similar objectives. These guys are also trying to interdict a little bit. And these, ooh, why are you out of range all of a sudden? I didn't know you guys were out of range. Why are you out of range? Can you get some drop tanks? Well, you could get some drop tanks, but that would sort of leave you unhinged. Right, okay, let's grab these guys then. Not sure who they are, but I think if we grab all of these three, that should be a-okay. So, yeah, I suppose we should be able to move them up a little bit. Right, you're currently based out of here, right? Yeah. Right, let's move you in with Thunderbolts over here close to Foggia. Oh, that does overload the air base here a little bit. Okay, so in that case, let's move into the big base at Foggia itself, and that should be okay. Right, now we should have these guys up in this battle as well. Yeah, there you go. So that's nice. These guys are going to try to disrupt the rail supply here and basically do a little bit of interdiction, so all of the convoys that are streaming out of here, so that's fine. Good. We've also got two actual ground attack missions. So we've got also Tactical Command with the single-engine fighters here. Fighter bombers here, Typhoons, all of these Apaches, Hurricanes, and a couple of Thunderbolts even. Although the D5 variant can't really carry a lot of bombs. So these guys are going to come out of here and going to very much focus on attacking this particular hex over here, because this is disrupting our supply that is going forward to this place. Likewise, we're going to attack Pescara again. So there's going to be a major bombing effort here with 200 medium bombers. Marauders that are going to come in and try to disrupt them there, so that hopefully we can take that harbor and again make it just a little bit easier for our supplies to fly forward. So that should basically be all of that. We've got a little bit of we've got quite a couple of naval patrols, and we're going to come out in force over here because we potentially might want to conduct some landings up over here, depending on how things go really. That is basically it for Italy. We've got a couple of missions over here in Northern Europe. So we've got the Royal Air Force bombing the Ruhr area. These guys do have various targets, but it's remarkable that this is by now 1,100 planes that they have got over here. So I think that's pretty fantastic. We've got also 1,000 American bombers that are going to try to come in over here into the Pforzheim, Stuttgart area. and a little bit on Garganow. The target of these guys is mostly the vehicles. We did try to come here earlier, but we couldn't really due to the weather, so let's see whether we can disrupt simply the Württemberg area over here. We've also got 300 escort fighters, and that is something that I really, really like to see. All of these lightnings, all of these mosquitoes do pretty much have the range to come here, so I'm happy about that. Right. Then we've got a smaller mission here by 9th US Air Force. So these guys are principally tactical bombers. And nevertheless, we are sending about 200 Marauders here to strike, again, the Ford factory at Antwerp. So maybe that is going to work out. I do not really know. That should be fine. Oh, by the way, one last thing I should check before we go to the actual conduct of the mission here is, oh yeah, we do have a couple of reserves here. I'm going to reassign them later. It doesn't matter too much now. It is nice that we are conducting all of these missions. So yeah, let's go ahead, let's execute these air directives and see how well that is going to go. Lots of naval interdictions over here. Oh, I should really reduce the message level over here, otherwise this is going to take quite a couple of hours. So yeah, there you can go, Royal Air Force coming into the Ruhr. There are our Americans, and here are all of the Italian strikes that are hopefully going to whittle down these troops there a little bit. Pescara, I can't see the defensive value there. It seems to be in the 40s. That's nice. More and more strikes. We are being intercepted here. You can see all of these black things that are speaking for interceptions. So that is not quite nice, but yeah. Quite a couple of strikes here, also on this position, which is very nice. I think it started out in the 70s, and they're down to 27 now, so that's nice. 22. And again, it would be extremely nice to do some other things. Oh, one last thing I should have mentioned is Strategic Air Force over here. These guys were tasked to strike at the rail yards. So our strategic bombers down here did try to strike the German rail yard. So basically, can we actually show that differently? Right, so basically all of these locations here, you can see they are doing a little bit of damage. It's mostly smaller things, but over time I think that might accumulate and lead to less supplies coming into them over here. So yeah, that would be nice. Right, let's briefly check on how things went over here with the air doctrines. So let's start out by, yeah, why not by the 9th USF? You know what, let's start with Bomber Command. Losing 37 planes, that's okay-ish against 4 enemy. That's not great. Should have probably done an intruder mission. And you guys did just wreak havoc on the Ruhr area. Not really sure we can see too much over here, but at least you were doing quite a bit of damage to various things. The Hummel factory, that's nice. Yeah, just overall damage. So yeah, I'm going to be happy with that. It's an okay, and the losses are sustainable, I would say. We've got the US Army Air Force, and this is fantastic. Just look at this, guys. So we've got 60 bombers lost, 35 escort fighters lost. That's a harsh loss. I mean, 50 planes, that's not nothing, right? But 108 enemy fighters lost. 108 and 36 damaged. Quite a bit of damage here on various of these factories. Honestly, that's kind of nice, but probably not that relevant for us. So, frankly, I'm really surprised by the effectiveness of our fighters over here. Just let's check that briefly here. What's going on? So, you guys, as you're flying in, you are trying to intercept. Where are all of these losses, though? I can't see them. Well, you're trying to intercept quite a bit here, I have to say. Just look at how many times they've went into an air battle here. But this is the big one. So, incredibly, it was Junker 88s that were intercepting us. What were you guys even doing here? These are heavy fighters. I think these actually aren't these night fighters. U-88, C6. I'll have to check on these guys. But yeah, we definitely did wreck them. And who was it that actually did the damage here? Seems to be mostly the Lightnings. Yeah. I mean, the P-47 at this point in the war, it was a good plane. It was a decent plane, but nowhere near on par with the P-51 Mustang in terms of range. That's not necessarily strictly actually a fault of the plane itself, but mostly of the fact that the Army Air Force didn't really bother to send that many drop tanks. And that is reflected in game, of course, by the fact that you only get drop tanks later. And so for now, it's mostly the P-38s that are doing the heavy lifting here over Germany. But that is a fairly fantastic result. extremely happy about that, honestly, guys. Right, 9th US Army Air Force, you guys were losing 9 planes against 28 on the German side. These are good indications. I mean, I don't know what the Germans are doing over here. But yeah, again, these are Sisteras coming in, and against our escorted fleets, even if it's only like second line fighters with the Spitfire VB and the Kitty Hawk, these are not necessarily good fighters for Northern Europe. Still, they're dashing out a lot of damage here. Look at that, it's the Polish squadrons. Some of my favorite flyers in World War II. Yeah, so you guys did get quite a couple of kills here, so yeah, fairly nice. Good stuff, good stuff. And that is even though we were a little bit lower in altitude. These guys did deal some damage, but honestly, I'm going to be extremely happy with trading one Marauder for 10 Sisteras. So yeah, happy there. Sometimes it really just doesn't register, this keystroke here. Right, no planes lost there, so that's nice. How about the Strategic Air Force? You guys did have very minimal losses over here. I don't think you were being even intercepted. Nevertheless, we are sending these guys in with a couple of fighters, so that's kind of okay. Yeah, damage, there is a little bit of damage dealt. It wasn't that many planes, it's okay, I suppose. Right, naval squadrons, you guys did incur some losses over here. So that's not nice. So see, sometimes it just doesn't work our way. Because you guys were being intercepted by some Beef-109s and the Kitty Hawks. Again, the Kitty Hawk just really, as a fighter, I mean 15,000 feet. Let me just briefly check what's the ideal altitude. The ideal altitude of a P-40 is 10,000 feet. So this kind of very far away from where you want to be. Yeah. I mean, the lack of the supercharger is an issue. And these guys, I mean, they were coming in at a low altitude still. Still, not great. Not great. Still, we are doing some naval interdiction here, which is good, at least. Right, that pretty much applies to everyone over here. Tactical Air Command. So you guys were conducting the ground strikes. You were losing 12 planes in total, which I suppose is fine on 12 raids. That's really just not too bad. Lots of interdiction over here. No, sorry, direct unit strikes. So these are the guys that are attacking Fojek. Got it. Yeah. Well, this is hard to read. Sometimes they're taking some losses, but it just doesn't really show up. I mean, some of these guys are outright killed, but we are mostly bombing for the disruption there, so I suppose that's fine. Some increase in the rail use over here, but mostly it's interdiction, and interdiction really just... These guys are not that great at interdiction. This is tactical command. Well, this I'm a little bit more skeptical about. And then lastly, we've got bomb command over here. These guys were doing a ground attack with them. That's another 3 planet lanes lost on our side. Honestly, not the worst. And it seems like you were doing quite a bit of good damage here, so I'm going to be happy with that. And then we've got, lastly, this is the last strike, the rail strikes against... Ooh, look at that. That's fairly nice. Good. So yeah, we should see that there's a lot of strikes on this rail infrastructure. And that is very, very nice to see indeed. Right. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this and survey the situation as is. So firstly, let's have a look at the rail situation. So we should see, come on, can I get it, the tooltip? We should see the amount of rail usage over here, shouldn't we? Can I only see it this way? No. Right, okay, let's switch over this way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so rail usage over here, over 5,000 at least, 10,000 there. So, yeah, they must have some difficulty pushing through some stuff down here. That's a lot of planes in this space down here. A lot of very small. That's a lot of small groups, which might indicate that they have a lot of planes that are being repaired or anything. So we might want to consider bombing that. But yeah, rail usage is high up here, so that is good for us. Other than that, though, we did do quite a bit of damage here against the Panzergrenadier Division. That's nice to see. Their fortifications didn't go down. And we did quite a bit of damage here against the units in Pescara. So I think for now, we should primarily try to disrupt them over here. And basically re-establish our supply lines. Make sure that our supply is flowing in this area here a little bit easier. by capturing mostly this port and this location up over here, so that we have some safer lines. That'd be nice. Right. You guys do need to build up a rail line here towards Neapolis itself. And then the question is, how do we go from here? I suppose we can try to directly get over here and do that. Yeah, the rail down there should work fine. So, yeah, let's briefly get this in order here before we need to do anything else. There we go, so that's fine. And then you guys can go ahead over here. And then we've got a fantastic new build, newly built up rail line all the way over here. So that's pretty beautiful. Now we should be able to ship stuff from Neapolis, level 6 port, down to Foggia. So that's another logistics depot for us, and maybe even into Trento and then onwards to Pescara. So that's great. And the only issue is we have now some slightly exposed railway units down here. Nothing we can really do about that, I'm afraid, so it just will need to suffice. They might just try to disrupt us by moving into here. That would be annoying, but I think it's just going to be the way it is. Right, you guys could move into this direction. We could try to cover them a little bit more by, let's say, moving up these guys onto that position. Yeah, still, I think it's very, very important to do that. Right, okay, port is being repaired over here, and afterwards we're going to take care of the rail yards. Yeah, should be okay. Right, I really hope that they're not going to disrupt us over here. But what I might do is just move you down here. I mean, you are fortified over here, and that's unfortunate. It would be unfortunate to give that up, right? Nevertheless, we've got an entire Fallschirmjäger division over here, and they can certainly move down there. Okay, let's do move you over here. I think that will still disrupt them too much to punch through over here. So I think we're going to be fine, and that should be okay, right? So yeah, let's hope that that works. Next question is, can we really get rid of the Panzer Grenadier division over here? It's going to be a tough one, right? So we've got some units down here. It's so tempting to try and break through these mountains, but honestly, I think breaking through mountains is just it's just not on the cards. So yeah, let's simply forget about that. Let's move you guys up so that we have that position, and that is also indicating that that is going to be easier over there. Do I still have this on? Yeah, for some reason I had. Right, so the big question is then, can we use all of these three guys here to do a deliberate attack against these Panzer Grenadiers in level 2 fortifications? This is going to be a tough one, but we did what we could do before. Did I just not get any note there? I think I did not. That's unfortunate, right? Let's see what was going on over there. Right, so defending forces are holding out. We are losing 300 men. They are losing a fort level. This is pretty important. Nevertheless, they have more power than we do, so we are losing quite a couple of men here. Nothing too big though, so that's okay. And I'm guessing that they have some disrupted units here. How about the ground losses? Yeah, they've got quite a couple of, motorized rifle squads. 26 of these guys are disrupted, so yeah, it definitely did hurt them. Did hurt them enough though. Right, so can we do another attack over here? A deliberate attack with 2 units this time? Oh, this is going to be too weak. This is going to be too weak. Now, I'm reluctant to move these guys out because that would mean this position here in the center would simply be way too exposed. What I can, however, do is swap these guys around. That I'm comfortable with. So let's set you guys there. Yeah, so we've got now a slightly stronger unit down there, so that's fine. Who's down there here? This is 2 units, really. You're not actually that strong offensively, but nevertheless, we do need some presence here, so I suppose that's fine. Good. Well, we could move back these tanks and use them in this attack as well. Now, these guys are fairly disrupted, mind you, so on the other hand, it might be nice to move them a little bit closer to to the supply situation. So you're being supplied from Fodger. You are receiving some supplies, but mostly you're using that to resupply yourself. So 500 are being sent out from Fodger to you. Fodger is sending out about 18,000, a lot of which is lost. I'm still guessing this is due to this position. Right, okay, let's move back our tanks. Let's use them in another deliberate attack over here. Let's see whether that is going to work. Right, so defending forces are holding out again. Nevertheless, this time they are weaker and we are a little bit stronger. They're losing 1,400 men, so that's not insignificant. This is fairly big. They also have good support over here with the Berthas. Nevertheless, it was just not enough. Right, we can't do another deliberate attack. We could do a hasty attack potentially with some of these guys. But that's, in a way, just asking for trouble, isn't it? Wow. Okay, next options is to pull back some of our units and try to disrupt them that way. That would mean that an attack on Pescara is pretty much out of the picture for now. They only have a level 1 fort there, but I think this position here is more important. If we can support this, then we can at least channel some more supplies through here. So I think this is the slightly more important way to go. So let's take this British tank division. Let's move down here. And then what we can at least do is do a hasty attack with all of these guys. No, because the Americans don't have any movement points. Right. I dislike that. I dislike that a lot, but let's try. No, they are holding out. They're getting weaker and weaker with every attack, but they're just still not. They're still nowhere beaten. But I don't want to move back from any of these positions, and this is already kind of exposed, so probably we do need. Can I pull off one of these guys? I could pull you there. I would like to maintain this position. Jesus, we just have way too few troops. Question is, do we go for Anzio landings? Anzio landings are dangerous. They do have a lot of divisions over here. They could crush the beaches probably. But at least it would give us some measure of relief on their supply lines. But basically, they could still probably, if we land down here, we could disrupt this one, but we'd probably have a harder time disrupting all of the other stuff. A couple of ports down here, not really that important. Yeah, and these guys could push forward, but I don't think they are going to. Right, can we move the tanks? We could move them over here. That's not really getting us anywhere. Into here, which is fine-ish, but again, we just really need this position here covered. So, yeah, it's basically just a no. Do need more troops in the fight. Really, really do. Right, let's, for a second here, grab these guys. Make sure that... Well, the Indians, honestly, I think I like a little bit more because they are pretty fantastic so far. Can I get you on a boat? I could try to get you on a boat and onto Salerno. You'll really be getting there, but we could stick down here and try to land you next time around. Let's try to get you on the boat and back, simply so that you are on the boat already, and that's fantastic. And then you guys down here, can I move you down there? No, I can't because there's a headquarter unit. Fine. Right, let's move the headquarter out. Let's get you guys down there. Probably you can't get on a boat. No, can't load yet. That's fine. How about you guys? Can you get on a boat? No, not yet. So we are rebuilding the port capacity over here, I think. Yeah, it's going to take a while though. So probably not going to be immediately happening. Right, so that does mean you guys do need to... Let's move up to Olbia, I think, so that we have some capabilities of moving you out there. Fifth Army itself, well, we could try to transport you over here. Wouldn't be the worst idea. Right, can I get down there? I could. We might take some losses in the process. It's not critical to move in there immediately. Could likewise move to Toronto and then up. I think that's a slightly safer route at this point. And of course I'm getting one transport hit. That's pathetic. But it is what it is. So not going to reload here. So that should be okay. Right. Good. We've moved up all of these guys. This is still not going anywhere. Some supply issues for some of these Germans, but really nothing to write home about. Basically all the rail supply is disrupted, so yeah, that's going to be tough on them. Right. We are exposed over here. There's no denying that, but I suppose it is what it is. We could move down here so that these guys are at least a little bit more disrupted. That would leave open the potential that they are going to try to move through these mountains. But honestly, I don't think they will do that. Is this Alta Mountain? Is this all mountains? Jesus. Okay, in that case, let's do remain down here in the plains. The important thing is we can trace our supply a little bit better now. I would really have loved to dislodge these guys, but yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight down here. So yeah, for now, I think you guys are all pretty much fine. Let's do move you back a little bit into this town there. That should be okay. Right, Termilio, you've got your port that is being repaired and your rail yard that is being repaired. So that should be okay. Foggia, you've got everything that's repaired. Well, the rail yard is being still repaired, so no luck there. We've got you guys. Let's start moving you down here, simply so that you're another stumbling block here to the enemy, and that should be okay. Right. So, trigger the Anzio landings or don't trigger the Anzio landings. I mean, you can see just how weak our forces are after all, if we can't even break them in this little location down here. True, they had some fortifications. True, if we were fresh, we could probably break them now. But we just still didn't manage this time around. And even if they are withdrawing some forces towards down here, I'm not sure that we can reinforce them quickly enough. So I'm slightly mindful that that is still probably not going to be the best idea. You can move ahead a little bit so that you're at least threatening them. Make it a little bit harder for them to move. These guys I don't want to move up yet because this is just a single division for now. And yeah, we do need to repair the port and everything else here. It's going to take a while to really be able to exploit this, I believe. We do need these troops. We do. Okay, I'm not going to trigger the Anzio landings yet because I would at least like to be able to move in these guys and reinforce any position that we could potentially conquer down there. So yeah, I think for now the wisest thing is to wait at least a single turn over here. And that being said, I think now is a very good place to put in a cut. So I'm going to advance time with the Germans, going to do all of the maintenance stuff, and going to define new air stuff. And then I'm going to be rejoined by you guys later to see just how it turned out with all of these Germans. So, hope you liked it. Hope to see you around then. Bye-bye, guys.